and welcome back to the Mother City. And of course, here for the State of the Nation Address 2024, it will be the first for this year. There will be another one because, as we've been saying, this is of course a general election year. So after the elections, there will be another State of the Nation Address. And this is the 8th time that President Cyril Ramaphosa will be addressing the nation. But of course, just taking a look at the readiness for proceedings this evening, and of course, some of the issues pertaining to the work of the National Assembly. We're joined by the Speaker, Nosiviwe Mapisa Nqakula. Ma'am, thanks so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you. Good morning.
So let's start with the business surrounding the economic freedom fighters. And of course, they will not, at least some of their members will not be in attendance. But this, of course, a big talking point for many South Africans. So what is the status with them?
No, it shouldn't be. You know, representation to Parliament is a representation of political parties. Yes, there are 6 members of the National Assembly who are members of the EFF who have since been suspended. Now, the fact that they will not be there does not mean that the EFF as a party will not be represented to the State of the Nation Address. They will be fully represented because they have 44 members in the National Assembly only, plus those who are in the National Council of Provinces. What is important, though, is that all of us need to be aware of the fact that the court is yet to finalize the matter. Remember, the matter was finalized and the EFF appealed. So this morning we are awaiting the outcome of the court. But my view is that that issue is neither here nor there. The issue for me is whoever walks into the National Assembly, into Parliament today, everybody needs to understand what the business of Sona is. It is the State of the Nation Address. It is not a question time. It is not a debate. Debates will follow on Tuesday and Wednesday. For now, it is for us to take our seats and for us to listen to what the President has to deliver. And for us to then begin to comment on those matters during the 2 days of debate. There'll be adequate time for conversations, for questions, for points of order. But for now, there will be no points of order, as has been indicated through the rules. And by the way, these rules are not meant for a particular party. These rules are meant for all of us, all members of Parliament. So these were not rules which are designed for the EFF. These are not rules which are designed for ATM or any other party. These are rules which are designed to ensure that all of us as members of Parliament ensure that we maintain the decorum of the House.
And then, Ms. Mapisa Nqakula, with regard to the work of the 6th administration, just in terms of passing legislation, working through those bills, just give us a summary of, what the work has been over this administration's tenure.
A lot of work has been done. I must say that the one thing which messed up this administration really towards the end in the past 2 years was the burning of Parliament, the fire, which really destroyed the infrastructure. And sometimes when you hear us engaging, you'll hear members saying, we demand there be a fully physical meeting. Yes, it's good. Fully physical meetings are very important. But remember, from now we have no structure. We have no infrastructure to operate from. And I think that's one thing which really disrupted the program of this last Parliament. However, when an administration comes in, it takes over work which has been there, which is on the table. For instance, as we are leaving now the 6th Parliament into the 7th Parliament, those who will come in will find a legacy report on the table. They will know exactly what was being done by the 6th Parliament and therefore where they should take off and the issues they need to finalize. The same applies to generally the administration of Parliament. Really, Parliament is about exercising oversight over the executive, and I believe this Parliament has done extremely well. The same applies to public participation processes. The fact that now you can go into the deep rural areas in Pondoland or Flagstaff, and you will hear people saying, we are aware that this and that legislation is in Parliament and that we will have an opportunity to express our views on the piece of legislation before Parliament. That, for me, talks to how we have deepened the public participation process, how Parliament over the years, over the 30-year period, has really sought to reach out to ordinary South Africans, particularly on matters which impact on their lives.
Just before I throw to Bulelani, just a quick one on accountability, Madam Speaker, with regard to the fire that gutted the National Assembly and the officers around it. Has anyone been held accountable for that? And has there been any disciplinary action or worse, apart from, of course, the case before the courts regarding Mr. Mafe?
Yes, Sakina. You'll be aware that we instituted an investigation which investigation produced a report. Report has since been tabled before us. We have gone through the report, and currently there are people, a few people, who have been put aside, who are standing aside so that they allow for processes of they are being subjected to a disciplinary process. That you have not had the outcome, it is because of the delays within that process. In fact, the delays were right at the beginning, even to conduct the very investigation. But we do have a report, and I'm sure in the 7th Parliament, maybe even before we leave now, we will have an opportunity to table it fully rather than giving members of Parliament snippets of the contents of the report.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Nosiviwe Mapisa Nqakula, speaking to us there about some of the work of the 6th administration. But let me take you now to Bulelani Phillip, who is also here on the parade.
All right, thank you so much, Sakina. And of course, we are continuing with this coverage of anticipating the State of the Nation address tonight by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Of course, he's made a lot of promises last year. And to get an update now on issues related to infrastructure, I'm joined by Public Works and Infrastructure Minister Sihle Zikalala. Thank you so much for your time. Firstly, what should we expect from Sona tonight in terms of infrastructure?
Well, we expect that as the President, when he presented the Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan, he said the infrastructure development will be the flywheel of economic recovery. And therefore, we expect that the President will take an opportunity to update the society on the progress made thus far, but also indicate the approach going forward. As how are we going to accelerate the infrastructure rollout in the country.
Now, let's remind you that he made a commitment that 600 million would be made available for Infrastructure South Africa and the Infrastructure Fund. What has happened to that money, and how many projects are you busy with?
There are a number of projects that are being implemented, which have been packaged by Infrastructure South Africa and Infrastructure Fund. These projects ranges from big water infrastructure projects, the road network, as you will see, the development of N3 and 2 and other roads in the country. But these projects also include energy, where work is being done to ensure that there is alternative energy projects that are implemented.
Now, the Welisizwe projects, we're seeing school kids crossing rivers in dangerous conditions. Have you been able to identify how many of these bridges does the department need to upgrade or build? And how long is it going to take to actually eradicate the problem?
Well, it is a challenge. It's a backlog we are working to eradicate.
How much is the backlog?
And the infrastructure plan right now, it's of 3.3 billion, which is 1.1 billion a year for the next 3 years. And we are working on that. We are going to complete 96 bridges that were promised by the President by the end of May this year. We will then start another 96 going forward.
So we're looking at a 3-year period?
It's a 3-year plan which will take us from last financial year to this financial year and the outer year.
And just with regards to the issues of infrastructure development for energy transition, how far is that?
It is going on. There are a number of projects that are being explored. Some are at a feasibility stage, but some are already being implemented by the private sector. At a level of the department, you will know that we are implementing the IRREP, which is an integrated resource renewable energy plan, where we will want to install alternative energy in all government buildings so that we contribute in lessening the demand from the grid.
Are we beginning to see the green light?
Yes, the green light, the green buildings, it is a plan that is there. And we cannot delay the implementation of ensuring that we become more aligned to the climate change demands. We are working hard on that so that we also try to avoid or lessen the damage that is caused by climate change.
All right, thank you so much, Minister Sihle Zikalala, Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure. Of course, we'll have to monitor the progress in some of those infrastructure development projects. For now, we cross back to you.